Hello, welcome to a Soulprint Mini. Thank you so very, very much for being here. My name is Cindy. Thank you for the feedback on the video that was released earlier uh, regarding Georgia and what's going on there. Just really some fascinating insights. So I hope you enjoyed that. I want to take a quick peek and see how Trump is doing. So we have Chesborough and Sidney Powell have both flipped, if you will. And so that's putting, I think, some extra pressure on Trump because these are people who had some significant. Of course, now according to Trump, Sidney Powell is just one up from the coffee boy. Okay, she was never his lawyer. He doesn't really know her. Thought it was a crackpot. However, that's, really, I don't think what the evidence is going to show, considering she played that significant role in what was it, Coffee County in Georgia, and the voting machines, and of course, Ken Chesborough is considered one of the architects of the whole fake elector scheme, and so they have a lot to say, and so that's going to be interesting. So I just wanted to see how Trump is handling that, and what's going on in the Trump camp as a result. Things are not going well for him. The courts are not smiling upon him fondly. So let's just take a quick peek and see how he's doing, shall we? Um, Tell me about Trump. Tell me about Trump. Tell me about Trump. Okay. So, like, not surprisingly, we're starting off with the Eight of Wands, right? So, this is all about communications, information coming out, more and more news that is not necessarily good. This is the thing about Trump, right? He will do and say whatever it takes to keep him in the headlines, in the news. He's one of those people who actually thinks to some degree that, no publicity is bad publicity. So, there's a part of him that really isn't getting wigged out about how bad things are going because he just sees it as beneficial to him. What he's not understanding is that his wheel of fortune has turned upside down and inside out, and it's not going to go so well for him. Finally, it's starting to penetrate that he is maybe in trouble, and maybe things aren't going as well as he thinks they are. Interesting to see if that Boris Epstein guy is still feeding him a load of happy thoughts. But slowly but surely, it is definitely starting to impact on him. It also, every time I step into his energy, I just don't feel good. There's like a lack of vitality. It's not a great feeling. So, whatever else is going on with him and mentally, physically, it definitely feels like, he's struggling a little bit. This is the thing, when he doesn't know what else to do, he runs behind his usual, right? He's gonna give rallies, he's gonna yell and scream, he's gonna stand on court steps. As I'm releasing this, no. So this is gonna go out on Wednesday. And so yesterday on Tuesday, um, Michael Cohen was supposed to be testifying in the New York one. So that's going to be interesting to see. I imagine I'll do a mini on that in the next day or two. So he's still going to carry on with the bravado. But more and more, he's starting to understand that he really is trapped. And there's a part of him that just, part of him is really scared, and part of him doesn't believe it's ever going to happen. So this is the sort of dichotomy, if you will, that he deals with, right? On the one hand, he's really frightened. And on the other hand, he lives in this world where truly nothing bad could ever happen to him. And the thing is even though things keep sort of knocking him down, um, he believes that as long as he continues to manipulate the press and get his message out there, that it's going to serve him well. And the sad thing about it is as far as his base is concerned, it does serve him well. The rest of us are all shaking our head and going, "What the hell?" So as we move forward, it's interesting because you're going to see him, I think, actually taking more and more aggressive steps verbally. He's going to get right to the edge. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't more threats of gag orders or repercussions from breaking gag orders, but he doesn't know how to be quiet. He feels like as long as he is giving his base what they need, they will continue to send money to him, and that's all he really cares about, right? His name and his money. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, interestingly, as far as the New York case, I'm getting the Three of Swords here. So this is talking to me about, Eric, Dawn, and Dawn. It feels like this is not going to go well for him. It's going to continue to not go well for them. And I think ultimately, when it comes right down to it, they really are going to see the closing down or the collapse of, you know, Trump org. Now, again, let's not get all excited because as soon as that comes down, there's going to be, we have to appeal this. We're going to appeal it, appeal it, appeal it. So even though there will be, guilty verdicts, in my opinion, coming up, you're not going to see significant shifts or changes, except it feels like um, with him and how he's coping and how he's processing. I think this might just be a little bit too much for him. He has always been this sort of take whatever you can get and run away sort of attitude. That has been uh, his business motto, if you will. But ultimately, it's going to take him to a place where, there's going to be some disappointments. There's going to be some sadness. He's going to discover that things are not quite as rosy and peachy as he thinks. So, what you have right now is a 70 something year old man who's afeared. I love that word, afeared of his future. He's scared of what tomorrow's going to bring. He's scared. He's getting really scared of some of these judges because he can't cow them. He keeps trying to bully them into submission, and they will not be bullied. This is not something he's used to, right? I mean, he is used to people just shriveling up when he comes after them. This isn't happening. He's getting more and more concerned about these judges that he cannot manipulate. Eileen Cannon is doing everything she can, except more and more she's just being made to look like a foolish puppet. So that's a separate thing. But the judges that he's dealing with now are not putting up with any of his crap. And more, he's really starting to feel some of those walls closing in, some of those doors closing on him. And so he is suffering from a great deal of anxiety and fear and worry. And we know because we've lived with this for years, when that happens, he becomes even more louder, more just in your face, says more outrageous things. So that's kind of what you can anticipate from him as we go forward or over the next little while. He lives in some crazy way in a fantasy world, okay? Like there's a part of him that really does stay in a state of denial and delusion. And in that world, he is going to come out ahead. He is going to win the presidency. He is going to make all of this horrible bad stuff go away. Just like COVID, it's going to magically happen for him. COVID was going to magically disappear. He's going to win the presidency magically. And he's not. Okay, he's just not. So, what he's doing is taking foolish steps, saying foolish things, doing foolish things, and that's what you have. So you have a 70-something-year-old man who is frightened, he is scared, he is delusional, he is spending a lot of time in this kind of reality where reality isn't actually happening to him. And more and more, you're going to hear more stuff coming out. I mean, it wasn't that long ago we heard about that Pratt guy in Australia who he was talking to about submarines. There's going to be more and more of this coming out. Um, you know, One of the things that Donald Trump has never figured out is that when you play with big boys who have more power and more money than you do, you should be careful about kind of throwing them, under the bus. Because what's happened is Pratt has become very kind of verbal about everything that he talked about with Trump and the things that Trump said, including making a statement apparently that, that call that he made to Zelensky was mild compared to what he normally says to people. And so he really doesn't understand what the problem is. And this is what he doesn't get, right? They're more powerful and they are more richer than he is. And he shouldn't do that, but he doesn't know how to not do that. And so this is where we are with him, right? He is just being Trump. But definitely he's not in a good place. And I think as this week, the next week, and the week after that unfold, you're going to see more and more of that sort of blustering anxiety making itself known. This is the thing to remember, though, is justice is coming for him. And even though it may not be coming as quickly as we like, it may not be coming as dramatically as we would like. The reality is you cannot put this genie back in the bottle. He cannot skate away from this. He is not going to be able to steer clear of this. That victory that he is looking for is truly, truly going to be denied him. And that, I think, is the most important thing to keep our focus on. Okay, our worst fears are not going to be realized, and we're going to focus on the results we want. Okay, and what we want and desire is for him to stop having any sort of a significant place or role in American politics, or frankly in American life. Okay, so that's what I know for right now. Thank you very, very much for being here. If you're still listening to me at this point, I am scheduling private readings into the beginning of November. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to send me a quick email at soulprint888@gmail.com, and I will let you know what you need to know. Until the next time, take care. Bye bye now.